All right, we're gonna go and kick off. I know a few people have joined since, but this is recorded. It'll be published on YouTube if you do speak and you just don't want your portion to be published. Oh, if you do speak and you don't want your what you say to be published, feel free to just say edit this piece out. And when we do the video editing, we'll cut that piece out. If you put on the chat, maybe the time, and then edit that piece out. We'll make sure that's done. But welcome everybody to today's workshop. I'm super excited because we posted this and within like 1 or 2 days, it actually got full pretty quickly. I think it was a little plushy. Not gonna lie, I'm a little jealous that AI made such a cute plushie that I can't find or buy. But we're really excited to have you. I want to give a big thanks to James and Izzy for their work putting this together. Izzy is one of our volunteers in the digital privacy space, and so is James. James, did you want to introduce yourself? I know I'm putting you on the
Uh,
spot.
yeah, sure. I'm a cybersecurity student. I've been in the field for about, I'd say, 2 years, and a lot of my experience revolves around digital privacy, trying to pull your information off the web or just trying to access the internet without being monitored. So I just thought it would be a lot of fun to help volunteer and teach some things.
Yeah, James has been great joining us. So today we are looking to secure your bytes, so safeguarding your digital life. I'm Yesenia said I'm the executive director of the Lioness Instincts, one of the co-founders of a physically sponsored nonprofit under the Hack Club Bank. And our goal for the Lioness in our digital privacy online safety is, for me, I'm a public speaker in a very business oriented world. And I want to be able to cloak myself in the mysterious digital mist where what you find is what I want you to find. So that's kind of the vision that I see when it comes to this because we're so ingrained in our digital space. You are in the right place if you're curious about what information's out there about you. You want to be aware of what your digital shadow looks like or techniques to reduce it. And you're just overwhelmed by the amount of social media, news articles about, hey, all this stuff has been breached. And we're going to be showing you some open source tools and some just overall tools that you can use on your day-to-day to manage your digital footprint. A little bit about me. I have about 12 years in cybersecurity, working with some major tech companies. I'm celebrated as an international speaker, and I'm a proud servant of 5 fur babies who did not comply and might make themselves known in today's workshop. I'm also a dedicated Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner and instructor, and I blend the discipline and strategy on and off the mat for both my teachings in the cyber and physical space. Currently, I'm doing open source and AI security research at Microsoft. I'm a purple belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu with about 6+ years of training, executive director, and then my background consists of a bachelor's in computer science, master's in digital forensics, a world traveler, Lego builder, and a lover of the ground. Earlier this year, I jumped out of the plane for the first time, and I really came into realization that I just like staying on the ground, which actually makes sense with the sports and my zodiac sign. So that's a little bit about me, and you can find me on Instagram and LinkedIn. The Lioness Instincts, this is a physically sponsored nonprofit by the Hack Club Bank. We were established in January, but our primary mission is to empower women to protect themselves in our physical and digital worlds using the principles of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and cybersecurity. I want us all to enlighten the huntress in us and engage in our own threat assessments with the tactics that we'll be teaching you today. And if you join us on our self-defense or one of our partners, also learn those tactics and techniques for your tool belt. We're on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and you can check us out on our website. But our primary vision is to awaken the warrior spirit within all of us. Our vision for the Lioness is to give women their power back, both physically and professionally. This is through self-defense teachings, our digital privacy program. We do have career development, and we're looking for financial health firms to also pass this along to our members. We got a little cat here. Here's some just details for you to learn more and stay in touch with us. So I do offer blogs in which we'll talk about, or I talk more about the career, hi baby, we'll talk more about the career development piece. You can check out upcoming events on the Lioness Instincts. If you weren't able to make this event, you can join us for next month's digital privacy workshop. We'll be touching on a different topic, but overall, it's going to be highlighting in the digital space. And then you can join the mailing list. We send out a monthly newsletter with upcoming events, both in person and digital. And then we also do have career development one-on-one and working towards career weekly cohorts. And with that, what you came here for today, right? So we're going to talk about digital privacy, what it is, what it means to you. You will have to engage, whether it's chat or you want to vocalize. We'll do some activities around metadata. We'll talk about privacy settings, choosing your apps, and then do some fun activities with geolocation and reverse image searching. And with that, in the chat, or if you want to get off of the mic, you're welcome to. Just let me know what digital privacy means to you. And don't be shy. What does digital privacy, online safety mean to you? Being able to control what's out there. I think one of the more important ones. Being able to give consent. Good. Thank you, Randy. Your rights to your own information. Thank you, Emily. Let's get like two more. James and Izzy, you can also participate, having control. So much of physical privacy of what is out there. Good. Yeah, so just understanding your footprint, understanding who has it, understanding how to take control and get back what is yours and allow what's out there. Areas of focus that we like to tackle on is social media. Social media is such a high target for our cyber criminals. A lot of information is out there on just our social media page, and we'll be using my public facing account because there's no better feedback than a stranger looking at your social media that lets you know what they find, right? Dating, for those that are in the dating pool right now looking, dating apps specifically have an issue on data privacy, especially when it comes to like connecting other apps to it, the amount of information you divulge while you're on this app, sharing your photos that you provide. There's a lot of privacy in there, and that's an area that we as an organization are looking to kind of help bring more awareness around. We also have just overall safety, like what online data can be exposed about you that will affect you in the physical space. And then very importantly, when we travel as an international traveler, there's little things that we can do to enable us to stay safe, especially if someone we don't know that's tracking us around the world and maybe harassment or cyber stalking. A lot of this is important because, and I know this number is a lot bigger due to the recent, I think it was Equifax breach, but just in 2020, we had 36 billion records exposed. Folks are very worried about the amount of harassment that's coming out of dating apps. Folks aren't really understanding the laws that are coming out to protect their personal data because most of us aren't lawyers and don't want to read like lawyers. And then AI just brings its own plethora of issues from deepfakes to those calls to our grandparents pretending to be us. And they're showing little to no trust in social media and the software that that we're using now, particularly in the US. So these are just areas of concerns and some statistics around them of why this is such important. And this workshop in itself, like I posted this and we maxed out of 15 within like 2 days. I opened it up to 20 and it within a day was full as well. So it's definitely an area that needs to be further discussed and talked about in this world. Now talking about lawyers, just as a disclaimer, everything we're showing you here today is for, second, everything we're showing you here today is for educational ethical use purposes. We are not showing you this so you can go hack your boyfriend, your husband, your wife, your significant other. The data that you use, you must have consent that you are using, and we are not responsible for anything you do with this data. So just want to make sure that's clear. And with that, we're going to go into our first area of focus, and that's going to be metadata. In the chat, or you can get off and speak. What is everyone's understanding of metadata? It's data about data, yes. What kind of data, I can pose this question too, what kind of data out there are you more concerned about? Technical identifiers. Yeah, geolocation or photos, which is pretty scary. So yeah, metadata is data about data, and photos, images, Word documents, PDFs, they all come with this extra metadata that explains various areas of information on what that object is. So if you took a picture, it has your geolocation, it has the camera model, it'll have a lens, it'll have the date, the size, and all those extra features. It might actually have the make and model of your phone, what camera you used, if it was front or back, maybe even some of your device information, like serial numbers and serial numbers and model information. Home address and social security numbers are more on what you might have taken a picture of. But if you do take pictures in your home address or at your home, because geolocation comes on the photos, it is actual. It's also included. So here's more examples of some pictures I took off of my desktop that I sent through WhatsApp. Some were downloaded, some were emailed. And I'm using Mac, while on the Mac here, you can see very limited information. You can tell that these first two came from LinkedIn and it provides an actual location. The one in the middle that I think my mouse is on, you can tell it came from a messaging. So this one I got from somebody else. It gives you the path. It gives you on this one, you can tell that I just downloaded this one off of something in LinkedIn. So these are just added information, and then there's other tools that help you actually extract this information and give you much, much more. And with that, we're going to go into our first activity, and it's like, how do we look for this information yourself? So with this, I want you to go ahead and on yourself find on your phone, on your desktop, on your laptop, whatever device you're using, just find one or two images. And on your device, it just depends on what you're doing. Go and open that and look at the details. We'll just take like 2 minutes on that, where you're going to find an image on your phone, on your desktop or laptop. If it's on desktop or laptop, right click it and go to like more information, go to details, and just examine the information that it does currently have. And then if anybody wants to like once again get off the mic or come in chat and just tell me what you found.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi. Um, so I actually looked up a picture, well, a picture I took yesterday of my food. Um, and I looked to see what information popped up. So when I pulled it up, it shows me the date, which was yesterday, and the exact time, which was at 6:06 p.m. It shows me that I took the picture with an Apple iPhone 14 Pro Max. So it has that information. And in the map, it actually shows my location. So my home.
Oh, were you aware that you had a location on the photos?
Location wise, yes. Since I've noticed that when I take pictures, it shows me wherever I'm at.
Okay.
Um, So that part, yes, but I don't know how to turn it off.
We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there.
Okay. But yeah, that's what I found on mine.
Cool. Thank you. Yeah, so it's interesting if you have the location on, and I think with Apple, it actually gives you like a map with like the point as the previous slide had.
Yes, it had a map.
Yeah, so you'll have
Yes.
something similar to this. Imagine if you sent that to, let's say, somebody you're dating or you're talking to on a dating app, and then now they also have your location. You didn't think about it. You're like, oh, here's a picture of food that I ate. Cool. All right, so now the fun topic that everyone I'm sure is interested in is the privacy settings. And here I'll pass it on to James and just let me know when to switch sides.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I think we're ready for the next slide. So what I really covered here was I wanted to find some applications that you can download on your phone that allow you to view the metadata that is recorded in that photo, and then also change it or delete what you want to. So you could pretty much go through and say, I'm going to upload these 5 photos to LinkedIn or Instagram, and you can go through them and clear out anything except for just like the critical information that makes it a photo. And I found some pretty good tools. Myself, I use an iPhone, and I found this EXIF tool. Unfortunately, a lot of things are named EXIF tools, so I tried to throw in a little screenshot of the logo there. And in this PowerPoint, actually, the titles for each thing here, the EXIF tool or EXIF eraser is actually a link that will take you to the App Store. So it should help you find it more effectively. Under Android, I found EXIF eraser and scrambled EXIF. Unfortunately, I couldn't test these because I don't have an Android device, but I did go through and show you how to use the EXIF tool on the iPhone.
And I did test both Android tools. The only difference between the two, as far as the iPhone, is you do not see the metadata that is on the object before, it just erases it. So we have some demos of this shortly.
Yeah.
Next slide.
Next slide. Yeah. So here's my test image. This is because I want to show metadata. This is actually a photo I took with my iPhone. I want to see all the information that was encoded into it. And I just thought a bunch of people walking around in dinosaur costumes for some reason was funny. So it's a good one to play around with. Can we go to the next slide? So EXIF tool, oh, by the way, this tool unfortunately is $3, which kind of sucks, but I'll talk about later why $3 isn't really a big deal and why you may want to look for a paid privacy tool. But for now, we're just going to talk about this. So how we use this tool, the first thing that we notice is that the file type for this photo is an HEIC. And is everyone here familiar with what a JPEG is? Like just a traditional photo file type? Okay, so it looks like HEIC, I didn't look into it enough to confirm, is a file type which allows you to stuff more data in there, which allows this metadata to work. And we have a level of confirmation of that because after we strip the metadata, it turns into a JPEG again. So we can see there's a lot of info in here. Some of it is just, what's the file size, what's the date and time, which is pretty harmless because that lets your photo app organize your photos, and that's fine. There's a lot of stuff about the shutter speed and the exposure mode. The problem here is I see iPhone 15 and the operating system version. Now, if someone wanted to attack my phone with a cyber attack, the first thing they want to know is, what are they attacking, right? What's the version of the hardware? What's the version of the operating system? Because if iOS 18.0.1 was vulnerable to something, they know they can get me with it. Now, I'm comfortable sharing this partly because Apple tends to be pretty secure, and they're pretty good about patches, at least I hope, considering I'm showing this. But yeah, can we move on to the next slide? So you may have noticed in the previous slide, there was no GPS location information because I actually turned off that setting in my phone itself. So it doesn't record that when I take a photo. So this wasn't the best example, but it's a pretty darn good one. Now we can see that when we click this little button in the top right corner, what is it? It's like the little export button or something for iPhone, or save button right there. Yeah. When we click that, we have a few options come up. We can share with all the metadata, pretty much where this app doesn't do anything at all. We can share without all of it, and it strips literally everything it can. And then you can just share it without the GPS information. So what I did here is I just stripped everything. And as a result, what we have is on the right. It's literally just the photo. And what's kind of nice with this application is we can click that blue plus button right there on GPS after we strip everything, and we can put down a fake GPS location. Now, I'm not sure exactly the use case for this, but it allows you to fudge the numbers here to trick someone into thinking you took the photo in a different location. So I don't know, maybe if you think someone's trying to stalk you online, you can kind of lead them on a wild goose chase rather than make them think that you're super clean. But it's kind of a cool little feature. And you can see, again, it changed from the HEIC file type to a JPEG. Can we go to the next slide, please?
Yeah, so this next slide is the Android. You have a video on the left where I'm using eraser and then blurred out my gallery because I was trying to find a specific picture that I wasn't at home to show this use case. And then I went to my gallery to find it. On the gallery side of Android, you can click it and go to share and then click on either of these two apps, and then it'll go ahead and do the details. But here, this is one that I actually already did. And this is the image that I'm going to do. As you can tell, can I pause it? I can't pause it. Here you can tell on just the Android's like gallery view, the date, time, where it's stored on my phone. The name description in itself gives a decent amount of information, the number of pictures, the date, and then once again, the device that was used. I know that with some tools you can extract more data, as if we saw on the Android, but the Android gallery, this is what you see. And then on the app, I'm going to show you now what you see on the Android side. I did not have to pay for either of these tools. And then those are my cats and dogs. And then you see that it was quick, it was done. When I look at the metadata, it's very plain. I changed the file name. I'm going to go back, look at the original picture, and then you can tell that they changed the file name, they changed the location, and they cleared up some of the details. Looking at Scramble, there wasn't much to really record because going from the gallery, selecting Scrambled from my app, all it did was say, voila, you're done. And then the picture was scraped. So this one's like a quick and easier, I think easier tool to use. But this one at least has like a gallery at the end of the amount of images that you did remove metadata for. And then we'll go to choosing your apps and back to James.
So something that is important here is, yeah, you can clean out all this information, but what we can also do is we can go into the settings of our phone itself, and actually keep it from recording location data into the photo in the first place. So we don't really have to think about it too much. And we can actually turn off location services for many of our applications on our phones, on both Android and iPhone, because there are many times where applications are asking for more permissions than they need, and location services is one of those. So we're going to go over how to turn that off. Oh, yeah. So how to select a privacy respecting app. So kind of flipped, but we'll go through this because it's actually pretty cool. So something that's important here is we select applications that are respectful of user privacy. And both iPhone and Android have done a pretty good job of reporting that information, I should say, to the end user in a way that's pretty easy to understand. So when you go on your respective app store, there's little boxes that come up that say what data is collected about you. And with iPhone, you see there's data used to track you specifically, which for this application I took a screenshot of, its location, device identifiers, which could really mean a lot of things. There's no like industry definition for that. That can mean the serial number of your phone, like it's you. There's no question it's anyone else. And there's usage data, which again can encompass quite a few things. And then there's diagnostics, which is usually just is the app working, right? That's to make sure that they know if something's wrong with it. On Android, they have a pretty similar reporting system. It says that this application collects location, app activity, and 2 others, location financial info, and 3 others, and you can click on see details to get some more information. The reason why I took screenshots of these is because these are screenshots of other metadata removing apps on these app stores. These are apps that are designed for people that are concerned about their privacy and want to strip data off photos, and the apps themselves collect a crazy amount of information on you just when you download it. So that's something to think about, that just because you find an application that's like, oh, it's designed for privacy, that doesn't mean it is. You do have to read into it a little bit. And fortunately, it is pretty easy to read into. You just need to know where to look. So what this comes down to is just reduce the amount of apps that we download that invade our privacy. There's certain applications you just have to download, whether it be for work or anything else. But any apps where you have a choice between one or the other that essentially do the same thing, look at that privacy report and grab the one that's better for you. I think we're ready for the next slide. Okay, so jumping back to turning off location services, I guess I kind of put those slides out of order. Sorry about that. But on iPhone, all we have to do, and I say all we have to do because they keep on moving where the settings are. So at this point, I just type in what I'm looking for in the settings page. It's getting ridiculous. All we do is we go to the privacy and security page, which you can just open your settings app on your phone, type in privacy, and it would come up. And what we're looking for here is the location services. And what we can do is we can select each of our applications, and you see on the rightmost photo, it's app clips, app store, camera, all that stuff. We can turn off location services. And you can actually go in there and select it for certain applications that do need your location, but they don't need to know where you are within 10 feet. Like that's a little extreme. You can go in and say turn off precise location. So something like a dating app is a great example. Bumble doesn't need to know where you are to 10 feet of accuracy. They just need to know you're in Tampa, right? That's pretty much all it needs. So don't give it extra information that it doesn't need. And in this case, we're turning off location services for camera, so the camera will never record information about that. And I think we're ready for the next slide. So on Android, unfortunately, I couldn't put a screenshot for every single process because Android works on so many devices. Instead, I found Google's support page where they have a big list of different devices, and you just select the dropdown for each one, and it gives you the settings necessary. So in the case of Google devices, which is going to be primarily pixels and such, you just open the camera app and turn off location. So somewhere in the settings, I couldn't replicate it, unfortunately, is the location services, and you just turn that on.
Yeah, and then as an Android user, very similar to iPhone, you can go and search and just look for location. And then I'm just gonna show my screen, my phone. Hopefully it doesn't blur. There you go. As you can tell on the screen of me, oh, screen turned off. You have an option to toggle on and off from locations, and then below that, there's location services, which you can also look at, or I'm sorry, app permissions. And then once you go into app permissions, you get that similar screen to iPhone, where you can go through and like go to the specific app and see what permissions are being shared for that device. And as you can tell on mine, I don't know if you can tell or not because I can't tell, but location is off. So just something you want to do on your phone just so that that metadata is not being shared. Any questions on these? Want to make sure people had time to do it too. We're kind of like walking, talking through it. Yeah, and any questions can be posted in the chat. Cool, super helpful. Want to make sure people have time to actually do the removals. All right, so here's the fun activity time. We're going to talk about geolocation. So I'm a struggling Instagram influencer, and I post pictures around the world. And there's a cool thing that Google's created. It's a free OSINT tool called Google Lens. If you have Android, you'll have it in your Google search. If not, you can also like download it to the web browser after you look, of course, to the privacy settings. But with it, as you can tell on this first screenshot, with the Google Lens, you can highlight the photo, and on the right, or whatever image you're looking at, and on the right, it'll give you similar things. So here, I asked Izzy to see what kind of information is out on my social media, like how much can someone tell where I'm at. So let's say I was traveling at this location and, you know, I'm all happily dabbly posting this on my stories or posting pictures and I'm still there. Here, she was able to tell where I was at from similar folks, where additional pictures that look very similar, like this one because of the tree, this one. She clicked on their profiles and saw that they were in Providence, Rhode Island, or Newport. This was Newport, Rhode Island. And because of my picture, even though I did not have the location on it, other people posting similar photos in that location and adding the location, she was able to triage and figure out where I was. So for anybody that wants to do the activity, this photo is deep into the interwebs of my Instagram. You can do it to your own photos too, and just go through your social media and thank you. Go through your social media and do the same thing and just see what kind of information of how quickly somebody can determine, especially if you post pictures of your house or more sensitive information like your parents' house or your own property. You can go ahead and use Google Lens on it and see what kind of like pretend you're somebody new, or even like I did, I asked a friend, go through my page and tell me if you can figure out information about me. Luckily, she struggled a little bit. Can you find the geolocation of a video? You can do similar techniques like this on a video. And then I'll empower you to like try to see if you can download. Instagram doesn't allow you to download it, but you can get a lot of context of a location from a video. So if you want to stop the video where there's a lot of background, you can do the Google Lens, and that will allow you to analyze that picture, and then it's going to connect you with similar locations. And then, Emily, you can also try Welcome to Geospy. This tool, I don't know if it accepts videos, but you can go give it a try. These are 3 open source tools that are available for you to also do the mapping and see what kind of metadata is in your picture. So we have, I'm going to slaughter this name, Pichatra. It's an AI-driven platform for predicting where a photo was taken. You have GeoSpy, which is a geolocation intelligence tool that tracks and analyzes location for security, marketing, and logistics. These two are very, very similar. And then we have Pix2Map, which is all three do something similar. We'll take the image, it'll read out the metadata that's in it. And here's a picture that Izzy had taken in Chicago, and she posted it. And from there, you can tell that it gave exact geolocation of where it was. And going back to what we had mentioned earlier was it shows that it's an iPhone 13 Pro and it's Apple. So because of the make and model of the phone, you know where this person's at. If you go online and you're doing recent or any exploits for that phone, you are posing yourself to more vulnerabilities about that because now they know where you're at, especially if you're posting live. They know what make and model of your phone is, physical identification, of course. So let's go find the person with the iPhone 13 when I don't know what number we're at now. And then being able to search for that. Our phones are constantly sending out pings as we're moving to connect to a satellite, to connect to Bluetooth, to connect to whatever additional frequencies that we are releasing. So one thing folks are capable or have done is called war driving, and they're pretty much continuing. They're either in a car, they're walking, and they're just picking up these signals. So if your phone's sending out signals of what device it is, they can easily map you to it. And then we're going to go into reverse image search. And here, if you don't have a selfie, this is now a time to take a selfie or just find one that you already have on your device. And we're going to do a reverse imaging. I would say get 1 or 2 images for this activity. So here are 3 websites that you can do this with. Face Check ID, Prim Eyes, and then Google search, Google image search. So if I exit here, I'm going to come in here and let's shine. Let's go to Prim Eyes. And just so you can see, I'm going to upload a photo of myself. Let's see. You can tell using AI. There we go. Taking this image. There's my pretty face. I'm confirming. And we're going to go ahead and search. And now we find me here, right? And then these are the websites that we can find. Here's another one that's also connecting. And of course, if you pay for the service, you can figure out where it is. But here you can see Tech Hub, South Florida. It's mapped me with a bunch of pictures all over the web. And then if you dive in, you can actually find it. Alpha Omega, which is an open source project I was on, conference that I spoke at, the WIT Network, which is a group that I was a part of and helping. But just from that one image, they were able to connect me to different accounts, different pages across the web. Like this is a super old, these 2 are super old images of me that I don't even know where they're actually at. Okay, see if we can go to the website. No, I'm not paying you. Same thing, I'm not really sure where these images sit anymore, but, and then you can also, the good thing is you can come in here and exclude, and then go through their delete from public record search. That's something this is from a conference, something to think about as you're doing this for yourself. The next one was face.
That was interesting what I saw on the PIM eyes thing. It said we'll remove it from our own searches.
Yeah, I like that.
They really create the problem and solve the solution.
But they'll do theirs for free. So face check. So once again, we'll use this glorious photo of me. Right, we'll search the internet. I understand I am not blackmailing a person. I'm not stalking a person. I'm doing, this one's a fun one. I always like this caption. You gotta put it. Slide it over. Bam. And then we're in queue. All the fabulous people I guess I match with. And then boom. Here now it connects me with social media websites as well. So LinkedIn, the dark reading episode, the video I posted some time ago, and you just see that that's not me. Some of them get interesting because they're not you, but you can kind of tell. Unless it's somebody you met like in a dating app that you got quote unquote consent for to see if they're on this. This is a good way to see one, if the person's real, two, do they have any other social media accounts that you don't know about, and ways to find them. And then we can do the same thing with Google image. So search by image, upload an image. I would read, if I were you, I would read the privacy context of this as well, of the fact that you're uploading an image, what it does. I love that my red hair does not map back to me. Let's see if I reduce this. So this is not a good picture. And sometimes you have to really just like put the face. Perfect. I'm gonna use this picture more often. So that is reverse image search. So I would just empower you to do it for yourself and see what comes up. There was one event that I did this, and one person found themselves on like a dating app that they were never on. So they found somebody had taken their images and created a dating app profile off of it. Another gentleman, he was a lot older, he found his high school yearbook pictures, and he's like, oh snap, I haven't found these people. So it was a happy return on that one. But I've seen more horror stories than positive. But from these kind of different or image search engine reverse imaging searches, that's what I meant to say. You're able to connect with different accounts and see how far your exposure is. Let's go to the next slide. Any questions here before I go to the next slide? Any questions, comments, concerns? I know we're just going through this. Okay. If any questions, just go ahead and put it in the chat. Oh, and then this is just our discussion piece. So uh, so just add a discussion, you can put in the chat. Key takeaways, like, are you surprised at the amount of data that you have out there? I really wanted to give you the information, and you can take this and do it at home. I know I scheduled this for like an hour and a half, but a lot of it is just you going and enabling the settings or disabling the settings and checking your own exposure. But I'll open it up for discussion and questions. All right. If not, I'm going to share these links. They're also in the slide deck, which Izzy has shared the link. That's where you can download the slide. But one thing I wanted to leave you with was some resources to help clean up your digital space. Just like it's recommended that you have different bank accounts for different things. We recommend you having different email addresses for different things, especially sensitive accounts. So your bank accounts, your medical, your investments. One tool that we highly recommend is Proton Mail. It's created by security professionals with security and privacy in mind, and you can read all about it at Proton Mail. But I would recommend creating one. per sensitive types of accounts. So one for banks and investment, one for mail, and then just leave like your Google, Hotmails, etc. for your spam situation. Excuse me. On your phones, I would check your cloud backup settings and make sure that you're backing up what you want to back up. With the breach several years ago on the celebrities and their photos, one of the main things was one, they were taking those indecent photos, but they had their cloud backup settings enabled. So they weren't aware that the photos that they were taking on their phone was ending up in the cloud because that was enabled. So if you don't want your personal photos up in the cloud, just manage your own cloud backup. I highly recommend backups as somebody who just lost their phone and lost a year of photos. I highly recommend backups, but just make sure you either do it yourself or just make sure you're conscious about it. Have I Been Pwned is an awesome site to check if an email has been compromised. So I'm going to jump out of this real quick. I don't want to jump out of that one. So I can show you Have I Been Pwned. And I'm exposing myself. This one's been pwned like forever. Yeah. So this one's been pwned in 9 data breaches. And then as you scroll down, you can tell that it was FitnessPal, Poshmark. I don't know what this is. Oh, Words with Friends. Yeah, I played that a long time ago. I was not very good at it. Yeah, Home Chef. City Zero Day. This is, I don't know exactly where the initial independent was. Park Mobile. Fort Lauderdale has us parking everywhere. I guess just going to an eye doctor and getting prescription medicine, prescription glasses. My data was compromised through that company. I've never used this. And then Telegram, Advanced Auto. These, it'll show you where you've been compromised, what year those compromises happened. And then this is just overall stats. Like this is, it's unfortunate, but it's very, 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 very common. This does not mean my mine was exposed here. This is just overall statistics. Presents, home screen. And then I'm going to pass it over to James to talk about these bullets.
Yeah, so what was said about Proton Mail is very accurate. I use it, actually, it's just my main email address now, because I was the cybersecurity student who fell down the paranoia rabbit hole. I'm like, delete everything that I don't need. But Proton Mail actually is really awesome. It is hosted in Switzerland, which has much stronger privacy laws than the United States. And it actually is so strict that if they are required to hand over information to the authorities, they hand over the encrypted information, which is completely useless because it's encrypted. So pretty much your data is completely safe, but it is up to you to remember your password. So it's kind of a trade-off when you get really secure with something. It's all in your hands. It's all your responsibility now. The data aggregator that was put in here is fantastic. I don't even know where you found it, but it's awesome. It's pretty much a list developed by, I believe, Special Operations for the Army for how to scrub your internet presence. So if anyone has ever tried to look up your phone number before or look up your name and you find information about yourself, it shows you how to go to those websites and then request that your data be removed. So it's pretty awesome. It's written very, very clearly, and do this, don't do that. It's fantastic. The advertising ID stuff here, advertising ID is kind of a complex topic, but fixing it is thankfully very easy. Pretty much just don't download apps on your phone you don't need. A lot of apps try and grab data on you. So if you just only download what you actually need, and just every month or something you look through your phone, you're like, have I even used this? Do I ever use this? Just get rid of it. You'll re-download it if you need it. And I wish I threw in a slide here, but we can talk about it in the next presentation where you can turn off advertising ID on your phone. What else is on here? I think that's all that I know about on this slide, to be honest.
Thank you, James. Yeah, and then once you get the slides and we posted the link, it's also pinned. It's the lionessinstincts.com/metadata footprint. Make sure that it's all lowercase because it is case sensitive. You'll get the links, and here this will send you the links to how to delete your advertisement ID on Android. Same thing for iPhone. And then there's a lot of various aggregators. One that we recently learned about was private aggregators, and this is on top of the public data that's already out there. They may be getting data from our credit reporters, right? So TransUnion, Equifax, and so forth. And you're able to actually freeze that. The same way you're able to freeze your credit, you're able to freeze the private data aggregation. And this helps with those letters you get in the mail about like personal loans and those messages you get, or it's like, hey, by the way, you're pre-approved for this like one loan that you never signed up for, but for some reason they call you 8 times a week. This is a great one to go through. Some of these are paid services. So remember, do your own due diligence. Just don't like accept what we're saying and go run with it. Please do your own due diligence. Google creates the same thing, an advertisement ID for your accounts, or if you're using the browser. So make sure you go to your adschoices.com. Of course, avoid posting full face pictures, your full name, any personal details online. For some of us, like myself, I do a lot of public speaking. I travel. I have a personal presence online. And my face is just everywhere at this point. Godspeed to the AI. And then there's two areas there's two companies that we recommend. Once again, do your due diligence. Opry and Canary, they're paid services to help you scrape off the stuff on your news. I'm looking at it and I'm leaning more towards Canary, but once again, do your own due diligence and check it. I got a lot of dogs. I got 2 dogs and they're very excited. They're always excited when I start a meeting because they think they're part of it. Any questions on this? So that's all that we had today. The slides are available on the website, so lionnessinstincts.com/metadata footprint. If anything comes up, feel free to email us at info@lionnessinstincts.com. And I really hope that this was helpful, providing you some details on it. Please take this information and go forth and clean up your footprint that's out there. It's very, very important for AI gathering. I know there was a thing about LinkedIn a few months back about like it's auto-enabled, so go ahead and disable that on LinkedIn, and really use this to start cleaning up your footprint. But if you have any questions, we'll stick around for a bit. If not, thank you so much, and we'll look forward to having you next month for a different type of presentation.